Good morning, lovely people. How are you all doing today? Oh, I'm really hot. My goodness, our weather has changed again. We are back to how it was a couple of weeks ago at the end of May. Oh, it's 3 weeks ago now, isn't it? Scorchio, blue sky, not a cloud up there, blazing sunshine. It's about 30 outside. In the shed, it's nearly 35 in here, which is 90 Fahrenheit. No wonder I'm dripping. Oh, it's gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Now, speaking of it, it is really hot today, so I will be putting my hat on shortly. The first thing that I want to say a lovely thank you to Lynn in Australia. This little package. Let me show you what's in here. These are fab. It's a cooling neck wrap. So the instructions say soak in water for 20 minutes until the crystals become gel, tied around your head or neck, and then regenerate by soaking for 1 to 3 minutes. It can be stored in a container or Ziploc bag in the refrigerator until required. Do not freeze. I'm glad it says do not freeze, because I'd be tempted to freeze it to wrap around my old knees. But look, you can see it's sort of a long bit of fabric, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4 pockets, it looks like. So get it nice and cold, and I can like that, or like that, or sort of around the back of my neck. This is going to be great. Lynn, thank you so much. And you know what? If anyone's going to know about things which are good for cooling, it's going to be an Aussie, isn't it? So that's fantastic. And there's 2 of them. So I shall, right, Rust, I will get them in a bowl of water to start soaking. Yeah, it has gone super hot. Excuse me. And I was thinking about this as I was walking down here today, because even walking down here has made me start sweating. I should say it's about 11 in the morning, so, or it might just be about half 11 by now. I had a few things to do indoors this morning, and now, you know, ideally, when it's going to be hot like this, one would garden at sort of 6 in the morning, 6 till 10, for example, but even by 10 o'clock it's pretty hot. However, that doesn't work with me, because I just struggle so much with sleeping that these days I'm rarely awake before 7:30. It takes me a good hour to get these old legs working again. So, you know, I wouldn't be getting down here till 10, or like today, 11. So that's a no-go. And even coming in the evening, our hottest part of the day tends to be between sort of 4 and 6. So even coming later on, it's still pretty warm. So, you know what? Suck it up, deal with it. But the great thing is, and this is what makes me so happy. So as I say, I was walking down here getting hotter and hotter and drippier and drippier. And I was thinking, well, today is not as hot as it was at the back end of May when I was digging the beds. I just thought to myself, my goodness, how on earth did I do it? I don't know. I honestly don't know how I did it in that heat, but I did, as you know by now. Yay! All the work, that hard work is done. Pretty much all the planting is done. I'll do a little bit of repeat seeding of things like the salad leaves that I want to later crop from. But essentially, all that graft is done now, and now we're into tinker time. Oh, blessed, beautiful tinker time. For me, in my garden, in my climate, generally speaking, from about the middle of June to the middle of September, I have these 3 glorious months of summer and a much, much slower pace. The jobs are few and far between, and most of the jobs, they're all really little jobs. Tying things in, deadheading, trimming my edges, occasionally a little bit of weeding. But they're all really, like I say, they're just slow, easy, gentle, tinker time jobs. It is utterly my favourite time of the year. You know, even if I wasn't a gardener, this time of year would be my favourite time of year. I'm definitely a summer girl. I love the heat. I love the brightness, the just sheer beautiful brightness every day. Gorgeous. And isn't it a wonderful thing in the garden that we have this beautiful, perfect rhythm to the year each year? We have those 2 or 3 months of hard work in the spring. All the digging, the bed prep, getting our structures up, getting our seedlings going, bringing our seedlings from home to the garden, into the cold frame, out of the cold frame, get them planted. You know, it's constant in the spring. We're always thinking about the next thing we want to get done in the garden, the next thing that really ought to get done before it's too late. Always this endless to-do list and that real hurry to make the most of that moment in spring. And then nature gives us this beautiful rest for 2 or 3 months every year. We get this gorgeous time now where, yeah, we're picking a few of our harvests and tinkering, but essentially we get to have a gorgeous rest while the garden does the hard work. I love it. And then, of course, come the autumn, middle of September right through to about the middle of November for me usually, it's kind of like spring in reverse. There's all that work to be done again. The structures come down, the beds have their compost added, the leaves get raked and chopped and added, and all the covers go on the fallow beds, and generally getting everything tucked up and secure for winter. And then, of course, we get that lovely rest in the winter. I think there's a sort of beautiful, perfect symmetry to it all. And we should make the most of it. So, I'm definitely, I'm so hot, sorry. I'm definitely going to be making the most of it today. It's not the solstice. I did talk about, I was going to hopefully film on the solstice, but actually it was such a lovely day. I just wanted to be in the moment and not distracted by you lot. You're very distracting in the nicest way. Yeah, it was, there were loads of people in the garden, so it was a real chit-chat day. I spent most of the day, I think I was probably here for about 6 or 7 hours in the end, just doing a load of little odds and ends of tidying up jobs. So, for example, I'm trying to think what I did. Oh yeah, there's been some overgrown brambles threatening to come into my garden, so cutting all those back. I tidied up behind the shed, I tidied up at the side of the shed, I tidied behind my fence and deck area because it had been a bit of a dumping ground. Distributed some more cardboard, did a bit more compost chopping. Excuse me. Sorry, excuse me a sec. So, I did get to enjoy the solstice here the whole weekend. It was lovely. But I didn't do, as I'd mentioned, I might do, which was play with my flowers. So that is what I'm going to do today. Playing with my flowers, including, I'm going to give my rose bush tree a prune. It's summer prune, and I'm going to use the principle of the 3 S's. My fantastic pruning expert friend taught me. So that will keep me out of mischief for quite some time, I think. And then, I may not have time for it in this video, so it may be a separate video. I'm going to start on my tomato cares. Oh, that reminds me. I need to check to see. I don't know if I've got any aspirin in the shed. Ah, yes. I've got my aspirin. What's the use by date? Oh, good. It's good until the end of this year. So that's for part of my tomato cares, which, like I say, I think that may end up being in a separate video. We'll see how all the flower cares go this morning. So I think it's time to gather my baskets, my pruning shears, I was just thinking then, do I want to get I've got thick sort of leather gauntlets, but my rose isn't that prickly, and to be honest, I don't really want to wear really thick gloves today because it is scorchio. So, okay, let me get all my bits and pieces together, and I'll see you in the garden by the rose bush in a minute. Oh, where it really is bright and warm today. There we go. I'm going to keep the hat on. I know it occludes a little bit, but well, anyway. So the first thing I do whenever I come to the garden, which is pretty much most days because of having to water, there have been a couple of days off watering last week. Thank goodness. Oh, a bit of a breeze, hold on. Let's take a moment to appreciate it today. Oh, it's lovely. So, yeah, first thing I do, every time I come to the garden, I'm greeted by the gorgeous, gorgeous sweet peas. They're doing beautifully for me this year. I think this is it's so going to get gusty now. Sod's law. This is my second year of having any type of success with them. I think I finally cracked it for growing my sweet peas. I start them in the cold frame in January. They get a nice slow start in their own time when they're probably about 6 to 8 inches tall. Nip out the growing tip to encourage side shoots, and they will also bear flowers. So yeah, they've been gorgeous. The thing is, to keep them gorgeous, you need to keep on top of deadheading. So I'll just show you this one. Oh, they've both fallen off now. So when the petals fall off, you see, just like little pea pods, beautiful. So I don't normally sit to do it, I have to say, but I'm sitting because I'm chatting. I'll just go through it, nip them all out, stand back for a second or change my angle, go around the other side, and invariably I've missed a few. Look, it doesn't matter, but if you can keep on top of taking these out, you will just keep getting more and more and more gorgeous little blooms. And you can see how, even in the last few weeks, they've shot up another foot or so. So they're really now starting to fill this obelisk nicely. Just behind is the achocha, so that's going to start to fill out and go along the fence too. But yeah, it's well worth. It's just a few minutes of you. Oops, snapped that one. It's got flowers on it. It's definitely worth a few minutes of our time each day, or every couple of days or so, to go through. The scent. Oh, there's nothing on earth quite as pretty as the scent of sweet peas. There have been so many times, I think particularly in the sort of late afternoon, evening, as I've been watering on the deck when I've had all my little pots of seedlings, and I just get a huge waft of it, and I have to stop whatever I'm doing for a moment. It's lovely. So I will carry on doing this all through the summer, and then as I see that they will start to slow down a bit, then I will leave it completely alone and let those seed pods develop, of course, to save my own seeds for next year. And what's lovely is these seeds were from a friend from her garden all the way over in Canada. Hi Jackie! These are her safe seeds that have made their way to me. I will now save seeds, and hopefully I'll have some to pass on to, say, my mum, my sister, friends and what have you. So we'll be spreading the sweet pea love. Gorgeous. Well, just one more smell. Just one more smell. I better get on with this before I just fall asleep in this heat and this gorgeous heavenly scent. The little scabious I've got tucked down here between lavenders next to the chamomile is always one of the first flowers to come in the herb bed each year. It's lovely. I absolutely adore scabious. It's yet another of those plants. It reminds me of my grandparents' garden. Now, taking a bit of lavender. So I'm going to give it a good deadheading now. It's definitely past its best. I'm not really deadheading in terms of hoping for more flowers. It'd just be nice to see the flowers that are there and make a little bit of space for all this lavender it's coming so fast now. Fabulous. Unlike with the sweet peas I literally just nip off that little developing pod. Don't worry about the stalks, anything, because it's just keeping going and going and going. But with the scabious, I am cutting back to, hard to see, I'm cutting right back to the first leaf. So yeah, give it a good tidy up. Give the chamomile some room, as well as the lavender, and actually it's just a chance for those remaining flowers to show off a bit, rather than be swamped by their dead and done little compatriots. I tell you what, it is definitely, it's hot today, and it's definitely a day for tinkering. Actually, the smell of chamomile that's coming up as well. Most of these flowers are just open, so I'm going to leave them for a few more days, let them develop, let that gorgeous flavour intensify a bit before I harvest, and make myself a nice cup of tea. Tisane. It isn't tea, it's a tisane. Like Mr. Poirot likes to drink. These really are the loveliest of jobs to do. If by the end of the summer, going into autumn, once I've harvested all of the lavender and shaped the little lavender bushes, if this is looking a bit straggly and messy, I can give it a bit more of a pruning and shaping then, but it probably won't need it. Just get these off now and then leave it to its own devices. As I do with most of this bed. I don't know if it will pick up from there, but there's a beautiful sound of the buzzing of bees in this bed already. The hyssop, I've got a purple hyssop there, a white hyssop here. The bees go nuts for it. And they're just having their first, lovely red admiral butterfly. Yeah, the flowers are just opening. So I've seen a couple of bees on it this morning, and I'm pretty sure it won't be too long before they go back to the hive and tell their mates that there's some gorgeous hyssop flowers to be had. Yay! You know, at the beginning of the year, I was talking quite a lot about the importance of our pollinators, and, you know, as veggie gardeners, we need the pollinators. So it's really important, if you can, to be able to
Well, actually, that's not true either.
to be able to, whether you have a little flower bed like this or dot them amongst your veggie beds, get some flowers in there, do a little bit of research to find out what flowers the bees, the hoverflies, etc. like, and yeah, get planting. Ooh. That's nearly done. I will probably deadhead the chives today as well because they are well over. And then I think it may be time to move on to the rose. So I'm down in the back end of the herb bed, and I've got a bit of a bare patch here, which I don't want to put anything in there permanently because these plants will fill out. But now that the Sicilian garlic is over, yes, I kept calling it the Leucodium aestivum. I got mixed up with where I planted things, never mind. I've got a couple of little self-seeded borage here. Sweet, but my neighbour, she of all the self-seeded cosmos, has pulled yet more out. So I thought, great, I'm going to pop a couple in this end, just for a little bit of height and blousiness this summer. Gosh, this ground is dry. Yeah, just for something for this year. Like I say, until all the other plants fill out. Just to say, I will, that's hard. I will water these in. It's not an ideal day for transplanting because of the heat, the sunshine, etc. But generally speaking, I might actually just put a clump of 3 in together. Generally speaking, I don't water the herb bed. The vast majority, excuse me, strange speaking because I'm bent double. Yeah, the vast majority of plants in this bed are sort of hot climate, drought tolerant plants anyway. But yeah, it amazes me that, well, I pretty much haven't watered it since I dug it out 2 years ago. Obviously it gets watered by the rain, but that's about it. Okay, just a couple more in. That'll do here. You're a nice little bunch. It's amazing the amount she's been able to pull out of her garden from self-seeded, and I'm hoping, as I mentioned previously, that because these are self-seeded, hang on a second, stand up straight. Yeah, because they're self-seeded, they already like our soil here. So yeah, good soaking, and then leave them to it. Good. Hopefully they'll be very happy there. There's a couple of random calendulas coming up that are self-seeded too. Lovely. So I've got a couple of the self-seeded cosmos left. This is a stonker, and I suddenly remembered I keep forgetting to do this bit. These are a little bit dumped. This is the poached eggs, forget-me-nots, the nigella. They're all over. Prickly ground. Yeah, they're all well and truly over. So, that's the Helenium division not doing anything. Yeah, they're well and truly over, so I'm just going to, literally all I do is just pull them out by the handful. They will all need chopping up for the compost, which invariably means that my compost will contain nigella, Okie doke, and forget-me-not seeds. But that's okay. They're all eminently recognisable seedlings. They all start way before all my veg planting, so if they spring up somewhere that I don't want them, just pull them up and put them back in the compost. Easy peasy. Wow, it's so dry down here. Now obviously we did have that really good amount of rain last week. Seems impossible to imagine it again now. But with such a dense canopy of the flowers, it looks like it's hardly got in there at all. Now, I'm not being overly fussy about clearing this ground, apart from where I see weeds coming up, as in grass. Yeah, that'll pretty much do. There's a ton of leaves, bits of detritus, but I'll just leave it on. You know, it's all adding in as mulch. It'll rot down, what have you. So I think, yeah, a nice big flowersy cosmos here on the corner will look great. Oh, this earth is beautiful. Oh, it does smell rich. Actually, there is moisture down here. Great. So I think for here, I'm going to put the really big, gorgeous one. All the other transplants of the self-seeded cosmos that I did about 10 days or so ago, along the rest of this top bed, they're all looking absolutely fine. So I don't think they minded me moving them too much. And then I think, oh, another one down here, what the heck? My face is running. Oh my goodness. I just took my hat off for a while to let my head breathe. But I've just been back to the shed and I've put one of those neck coolers from Lynn in a pot of water to swell up, get nice and chilly. And I think what I'll do is I'll do another little job quickly on the deck, because it does say, the instructions said give them 20 minutes. Oh, I need to get some water. Give it 20 minutes to soak. So I'll do another little quick job on the deck, then head back to the shed, wrap my head up, sit in the shade for a few minutes, and just let my body cool down a little bit before I come back out and do my next bit of tinkering. We really have to get out of the sun after this job. So, because all the herbs are well underway again this year, and because all the trays of seedlings that were on the deck are now planted, I've got room to put my blueberry bushes back here, and they're absolutely full of beautiful little fruits. I'm so excited. I've never had my own blueberries before. What I don't want is for the birds to beat me to them. So, time for the dance of the 7 veils again. I'm not quite sure how, but I'm just going to sort of drape both of them, and then make sure they're all tucked in, and then just some clothes pegs. Hopefully this will be enough. I'm just wondering if they will kind of duck under, try to come up and under. Well, let's see if I can thwart them. They're starting to look like brides in their veils. Hey, I don't care, as long as I get some gorgeous berries. And then I think the bit at the back goes right down to the tub. So I'm actually going to, would it go on there? Yeah, peg it right onto the pot so it doesn't blow off. Good. So obviously plenty of sunlight's getting through still to help them ripen. And fingers crossed, I was going to say thwarted, fingers quaffed, I've thwarted the boydies. Yay! Let's go and get some shade. Gosh, it's so hot. I know I've said that a gazillion times already, but it is. I can't admit, I'm absolutely drenched in sweat. So I've got my little cooler on. It does feel a bit odd. It's kind of squishy and it's sort of going, but oh, the instant effect of it's lovely. So yeah, it's definitely time for, I don't know, probably I'm going to need about half an hour in the shade. Going to have a little bit to eat, lots more water. I haven't drunk enough water yet today. And I realise that I've gone on longer than I intended with all my little tinker jobs. That's the beauty of them though, isn't it, these tinker jobs, is you just lose yourself in them, lose track of time. You know, there's no sense of hurry about any of it. It's definitely about being in the moment and enjoying that moment. And I really have. I've loved, let me just look at my clock. Come on, clock. Wow, I've been here 3 hours. You wouldn't believe it, would you? So I haven't got around to doing the rose bush prune that I was going to do and show you and explain the 3 S's. I'm not going to hurry that up and try and squeeze it in now. I'm actually going to leave that now for another day. It's not desperate. Instead, I am looking at my toms and thinking they do need their cares. So the roses can wait for another tinker day. The toms can wait until I've had my little half-hour reprieve in here, let my body temperature come down a bit before I go back out there in the heat and drip some more. So for now I'm going to say cheerio to you all. I hope you've liked hanging out with me today. It's been lovely to have you. Like I say, I just love these quiet, simple, slow, easy, gentle, how can I emphasise it anymore, these kind of jobs on such a magnificently beautiful day. We are truly blessed, those of us that get to experience gardening. I will see you all again really soon. In the tomato patch. I think before I do that I might stick my whole head in one of those water tanks. So until then, please look after yourselves, look after each other, keep reaching out to each other, and whatever you're getting up to in your garden, I hope you're going nice and slowly at it and enjoying every beautiful moment. Bye for now.